Hi there, tech savvy seniors. Thank you for joining me on another tutorial on how to better use your iPhone. In today's video, we are going to learn how to adjust the brightness and color settings on our iPhone. And I'll give you a little bit of context before we jump directly into the instructions on, what examples, when would we change the brightness, and what do I mean by change the color? iPhone actually has something called True Tone, which I'll tell you a little bit about. So the brightness is pretty straightforward. On a bright day, if you're outside using your iPhone, obviously you want to be able to see it. So I know I struggle on a very bright sunny day if the brightness isn't all the way up. Even if the brightness is all the way up, sometimes it's just tough to see. And at night, obviously, you want to take the brightness down because it can, when you're laying in bed reading a book or looking at Facebook or, reading news, you don't want that bright light shining in your eye. And that actually brings me to the second part of this video, changing the color to your iPhone. So what Apple has is something called True Tone on their display, and what this allows us to do is it actually takes in the ambient light from your atmosphere, your environment. So it takes the ambient light from your environment and it makes the phone look more like just a standard white sheet of paper. So it's always adjusting the white balance based on the light in your surrounding areas. Alright, so again, that's the brightness and color of the iPhone, and without further ado, we'll jump right into the instructions on how to actually change these settings. So let's get to it. Okay, so now we are going to review the steps needed to adjust the iPhone screen brightness and color. So the first thing we need to do here is unlock our iPhone. But really quick before we do, again, I'm going to recap just a few things that we're going to review in this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to dim the screen to extend battery life, use a function called night shift, and what this does is it actually changes the coloring of the screen depending on the time of day. And I will also show you how to automatically adjust the screen color based on the ambient lighting conditions. And this is what's called True Tone, and it allows you to just have kind of that book reading experience, as Apple likes to call it. So it makes it seem like just a standard white sheet of paper, and without a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo, it's just easier and more pleasant to read on your eyes. So I'll show you how to enable that functionality. I highly recommend it. Alright, so without further ado, we will jump right into the settings. And again, the first thing we're going to do is show you how to how to change the brightness on your iPhone. So again, why would you want to change the brightness? Well, that's twofold, I guess. One, to see the phone better. So if it's really bright outside, you need to increase that brightness to be able to see the phone better. Or conversely, inside, let's say at night, you don't want the phone to be too bright because it can give you a headache from staring at it too long, so on and so forth. And finally, perhaps you're running low on battery. If you reduce the screen brightness, that's actually going to prolong your battery life. So let's again jump right into it. The first thing we are going to do here is unlock our iPhone. So again, that's step one. We are going to swipe up on our iPhone on our lock screen, and if you have Face ID enabled, you don't have to type in your passcode. It will scan your face and unlock for you. So again, we are going to take our hand and swipe up from the bottom to unlock our iPhone. That's step one. Next, we are going to jump into the steps to adjust the screen brightness manually. So this is taking your screen brightness and increasing it or decreasing it manually. And I'll show you two different ways to accomplish this. The first way is the quick, easy way. It is accessing what we call the control center on your iPhone. And think about the control center as like the main place where you can quickly adjust a lot of your key settings like brightness, how loud your ringer is, whether you want to put your phone in airplane mode if you're taking a flight, so on and so forth. So how do we access the control center? Well, what you want to do is take whatever finger you want to use. I personally use my thumb. I'm right-handed, so I kind of hold my phone in my hand and use my thumb. And you are going to swipe down from the top right-hand corner of your iPhone. So that's where the battery icon, your Wi-Fi icon, and your cellular signal kind of sit on the top right hand corner of your iPhone. So we're going to take our thumb and swipe down from that location, and you see it brings up our control center. So again, there's a lot of settings. In a later video I'll show you actually how to customize this to your liking, but for now, one setting that is definitely going to be there as it's stock on the iPhone is the brightness adjustment slider, and it looks like a little sun. And simply, if you take your hand and slide down on the slider, it will actually dim the phone, and if you slide up on the slider, it will make the phone brighter. So again, we can go down and dim the iPhone. We can then go up and we can make it brighter. So I'll keep it here about halfway. All right, and to get back out of the control center, all we have to do is simply swipe up from the bottom of the phone as if we were unlocking the phone. So we'll swipe up and that just goes away. Now we are back to our home screen. All right, so the other way that you can adjust your brightness is actually through your settings app. So we'll go ahead and jump into that. So from your home screen, it's typically where you find that application. It looks like a little cog. So we're going to go ahead and tap that, our settings app. And from this app, you can actually search within the settings. So if you don't feel like scrolling, you can tap here at the top and you can actually search for things. So we want to actually look for display and brightness. That is the setting we want to change. So if I were to start typing this, I'm going to type out display. You will see the third result listed here is the one we need. So I'm actually going to show you where that's at in the menu, but just wanted to illustrate the functionality of searching for a different setting you're trying to find. So I'm going to hit cancel right there, and we are going to scroll down. All right, the display and brightness setting is just a few rows down. It's in the third set of icons there. It looks like a small A and a big A, and again has display and brightness there. So we are going to tap on that, and you will see at the very top you have a slider, what they call a slider, and you can adjust that left to right. The further left you go, the softer or the less bright your iPhone gets, and the further right you go, naturally the opposite, the brighter the phone gets there. So again, that is how you adjust your brightness within the settings app of your iPhone. So to get back out of this setting, specifically the display and brightness, we are going to tap toward the top left hand side of our phone where it says settings in blue there. Think of that as your back arrow. And typically if you're in an app and trying to figure out how to get back somewhere, a lot of apps locate that information there in the top left hand corner. So again, we're going to tap settings, and that just takes us back to the main menu. And what we can do just to get back to our home screen from this or any other app in our iPhone is, again, we can swipe up from the bottom, and that is going to take us back to our home screen. So we'll do that now. We're going to swipe up from the bottom. All right, we are looking at our home screen. So what I would like to show you how to do next is what I personally prefer to do. Really, the only time you're adjusting your screen brightness manually is if it's just too bright at night, or you're trying to save battery life, etc. Typically, I leave mine on automatic, and I let the sensors on the iPhone determine how bright it needs to be. They typically do a really good job. So I'm going to show you how to engage that feature. So what we are going to do is again go back into our settings app, and we can tap that again. It looks like a little cog. So let's tap our settings app. Then we are going to go to general. So I'm going to scroll back to the top so you can get a feel for where this is at. So let's scroll down a little bit. And on the third set of icons, it is the first one. It's general. Looks like a little cog. So we're going to tap that. And then a couple of options down, we are going to select accessibility. So let's tap accessibility. And then we are going to go to display accommodations. So let's tap display accommodations here. All right. And you can see I've actually got this enabled already. So I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to assume yours is not enabled. To turn that on, you just tap AutoBrightness, this little switch here, and you will see it flip over to green. So we are good to go, and now my phone is going to automatically adjust the brightness to go brighter or darker based on the surrounding light. So if you're in a dark room, it's automatically going to adjust it down. If you're outside on a bright sunny day, it's going to pick up the brightness on that iPhone for you automatically. Alright, so the next feature I want to talk about and show you how to use is what's called True Tone. Now, this is a cool feature. Again, what it is doing is adjusting the white balance of your phone. And what that means is it's basically trying to make, let's say, if you were looking at a book, for example, and it was an ebook that had a white background and black letters, it wants to make that look as much like a normal sheet of paper as possible. So there's not too much contrast between kind of the ambient light in your surrounding area and the screen itself. It makes for a much more pleasant and viewing experience on your device. So what we are going to do now is turn, again, what's called True Tone on. Again, that makes the surrounding area look and kind of match the screen brightness, or not brightness, but color on your phone. So to turn on the True Tone feature, what we are going to do is access the control center again. So if you remember from before, we are going to swipe down on the top right hand corner of your iPhone. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we are back in our control center. Now, one thing I want to point out, you see this little red blinking light on my control center. That is because I am actually recording the screen on this iPhone for this tutorial. So you will not see that on your phone. So what we are going to do is actually press down on the brightness icon. So earlier we slid it up to increase the brightness, and we slid it down to decrease the brightness. But now we are actually going to press on that, and it is going to bring up that True Tone option down here on the bottom right hand side. So you will see that I can simply click that and turn True Tone on. It turns that icon blue. That lets us know it's activated. And again, True Tone just makes for a more pleasant viewing experience on your iPhone. It makes it match if you were reading a book is the simplest way to explain that. It's adjusting the white balance based on your ambient light. All right, so you can just tap anywhere on the screen away from the slider itself or the icons, and that will take you back to the control center. All right, so the next feature I would like to show you how to do is set up night shift. All right, so what we are going to do is get back out of our control center. If you remember from earlier, to get out of that, you'll see a little white bar at the bottom of your phone. You simply want to swipe up as if you were unlocking your phone. So night shift, what is night shift? I love this feature. I actually have it turned on, so I'm going to have to turn it off and turn it back on to show you those steps. But what this does is it automatically changes the tone of the phone and removes blue light for warmer, more, I guess, orange light is the best way to describe it, in the display of the phone. And so at night, this is easier on your eyes. There's actually research that shows it makes for an easier night's sleep. So that's why you don't want to watch, TV or look at your phone or really look at a screen right before you go to sleep. So this is a way to help supplement that and not give those same side effects. So what we are going to do is go back into our lovely settings app here. So we are going to tap the settings app. Now we need to go to display and brightness. So we're going to go back. That's where we were earlier. We're going to scroll down until we see display and brightness. And that is again a small A and a big A and a blue box with the icon that says display and brightness. So let's tap that. And now what we want to do is turn on night shift. So we're going to tap that, and you will see a few different options here. We can turn on scheduled, and that's what we need to do first to activate this. So let's click that switch, and it's going to turn it green. And you will see it actually has times set up here from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then you also see here at the very bottom, you can adjust this color temperature. You can make it less warm, bluer, or more warm. Personally, I crank it all the way to the end because I like to look at my iPhone late at night. And this honestly does help, me not get that interrupted sleep from looking at a blue screen that late right before I'm about to go to sleep. So in our scheduled area here, we are going to tap where it says from and to, and I want to show you something. You can change this from a specific time to simply use, sunrise and sunset. So that's kind of cool. Here at the very top, you can see automatic schedule. I'm going to tap sunset to sunrise, and that way I don't have to think about it. It just comes on. Me personally, I'm a little bit more of a control freak, so I'm going to tap custom schedule, and I'm going to turn that on at 8 p.m. I figure I don't need to look at a blue screen anytime after 8, and then I'm going to turn it off at 7 a.m. I may wake up a little bit sooner than that and look at my iPhone, but I actually like the warmer screen in the morning as well. It's not so harsh on your eyes. And you may just prefer this all the time. Who knows? It's up to you. All right, so to get back out of this, actually, I would like to show you how to set up the custom schedule. So what you want to do is tap on turn on at, and you will see it brings this little wheel here. So you can adjust each number independently. So let's say I want to set this for 10 p.m. I scroll up on my hour wheel, and then you can adjust AM and PM over here. All right, so we've got turn on at 10 p.m. So let's change our turn off at time to 6 a.m. So I can adjust that slider there. And now we are done. All I need to do to get back out of this is tap on night shift in the top left hand corner of this screen. So we're going to tap night shift up here in the top left-hand corner. And one thing I do want to point out is that if you select sunset to sunrise, the iPhone actually uses the data from your clock and your location to pinpoint that. So if you don't have location services on your iPhone, that won't work. You would just need to schedule that based on a specific time. And then finally, if you just want to, instead of worrying about a specific time, let me get back out of night shift, go back into my settings, and then we're going to swipe up to get rid of that. So finally, if you want to turn night shift on or off manually, I'm going to show you how to do that. So the scenario here is, it's late at night. I just need to turn this on. I don't want to fumble with the settings. I just want to turn night shift on. So what we're going to do is access our control center. We're going to swipe from the top right-hand side of our iPhone down. And then we are going to press and touch our brightness slider here. So we're going to press and touch that. And then here on the bottom left-hand side, you will see the night shift icon. I actually have this on now, so I'll turn it off by tapping it. It takes the night shift off. Or I can simply tap it again to turn it back on. And if I want to get back out of this menu, tap anywhere away from the slider or the icons, and that gets you back to the control center. And if you need to get back to your home screen, just swipe up from the bottom of the control center, and that takes you back to your home screen. All right, tech savvy seniors, that was a video on how to adjust not only your brightness, but the color of your phone in various different conditions. Thank you for joining. Please do like these videos, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you're hitting that notifications icon so that you can see when we're posting new videos. We strive to make videos consistently each and every week to help you in your journey to learn how to use your iPhone. Thank you and have a great day.